Thankful. I'm thankful for the opportunity first. I'm thankful for being able to look in all those and every player that was out there participating eyes and like tell them like this a family. You know, we gotta change. You gotta know. So me coming here, you know, my vow is to definitely.
The NFL just got flipped inside out, and you can practically hear the haters choking on their own comments. Shedeur Sanders didn't just chase the bag, he secured the vault, installed a fingerprint lock, and left every critic outside banging on the door. Teams were plotting to wait and see, but now they'll be sitting and crying while Shadur cruises in his fully guaranteed turbo-powered contract that screams confidence. This ain't just a deal, it's a declaration.
People are approaching it like a preseason game. He's approaching like a game. And that's how he's always approached everything, to prepare and to approach it like this is it. He's thankful and appreciative of
a red carpet victory lap with 0 L's, and the jealousy flooding Twitter right now could power an entire city. When Shadur stepped onto that NFL field for his first pre-debut, he didn't walk in like a rookie. He stormed in like the headline itself. It wasn't football, it was domination disguised as a scrimmage. He made it personal, like he showed up to end defensive playbooks, retire coordinators, and remind veterans that their time is officially up. You know that wild moment when a freshman strolls into the cafeteria and somehow takes the senior table? That's exactly the vibe, except Shadur didn't just sit down. He bought the whole table, signed it, and put his name on the plaque. From the first snap, the energy shifted. The haters who spent months online building their little "he's not ready" sandcastles got hit with a Category 5 storm named Sanders.
How y'all feel now? No matter what he do, how you feel now? That man playing for his daddy. All you haters, if you hate Shadur, you hate.
All that talk about college stats not translating to the league, gone. The moment he touched that ball, pressure folded before he did. Shadur showed up with poise, precision, and swagger that made the entire stadium sit up like, wait, who is this dude? By the second drive, it stopped being a game. It turned into performance art. He was flipping broken pockets into 30-yard lasers like he was jogging through a highlight reel. The Panthers defense wasn't even mad by the third quarter, just lost in disbelief. One cornerback literally had that "did we just get set up" look plastered on his face. Every throw, every read, every step screamed control.
Okay, he doesn't get spooked. He moves just enough. A lot of younger quarterbacks will get spooked and he'll just run away. He moves a little bit, sets up, sees it, throws a strike. Okay, down low, away, so you don't kill.
This wasn't luck. This was legacy in motion. And here's the wild part. It wasn't just about stats. Yeah, the numbers were fire. But what really shook the league was that swagger, the calm confidence in his eyes, the way he read the field like he'd already lived this moment in another dimension. It was spooky good. Every snap felt pre-scripted, like he had a cheat code for every defender's weakness. The timing was razor sharp, the placement surgical, and the patience ice cold. It was like watching someone who knew the game better than the coordinators calling it. The haters, silent. You could practically hear keyboards slamming shut.
The season starts, but this is really a bright spot for them. Their 5th-round quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, the person that they didn't even have on their draft board, that they drafted just because he was the best player available by the time that pick came. Really?
Twitter went from "he's overrated" to "well, it's just preseason" faster than you could say delete tweet. Sports analysts were out here scrambling to rewrite their takes without looking like they just got spun around by one of his deep balls. One second they're doubting him, the next they're pretending they always believed. The backpedaling was Olympic level and nobody was fooling anyone. But then came the bombshell that broke the internet. Before the echoes of that game even faded, the news dropped. Shedeur Sanders just secured a contract extension so massive it made elite quarterbacks double-check their bank apps.
Talk about Shedeur Sanders. And Sam, I'm going to start with you. What was your reaction to Shedeur Sanders' first game as a pro?
I was extremely impressed. Shedeur Sanders was comfortable and confident. You saw him stand in the pocket and take hits and deliver strikes. Some of the throws that he made popped and jumped off of the screen. They were veteran-type plays. He looked like a vet.
You could feel the shockwave ripple through the league, stars texting their agents, haters turning red, and social media catching fire. This wasn't a bag, this was a Brinks truck, full tank, headlights on, pulling right up to his mansion with the doors wide open. Imagine being that dude who swore Shadur ain't ready for the league, only to watch him torch defenses and stack generational wealth before his official debut. That's not an L, that's a Lifetime documentary, narrated by Morgan Freeman himself, explaining just how wrong you were.
Season for him, all the discussion was about the lack of reps that he had received. So given that context, under those circumstances, how do you feel he performed?
Oh, I think he played well. And there was a couple decisions he had to make once he was forced away from the pocket and made some really nice throws in the red zone, very accurate. Here's one here, he rolls out now. Watch. Yellow's going to tell you that basically, you know what, it could be a dangerous throw. Green is, he's open. Watch him wait it out. But what I like...
By the time the replays hit ESPN, it wasn't just a highlight reel, it was history. Analysts were freeze-framing every throw like scientists studying a new element. They weren't just watching a rookie's first showing, they were witnessing the birth of a new standard. It wasn't football, it was a phenomenon. Every spiral was a clinic in precision. Every throw a highlight waiting to happen. It wasn't just a rookie debut, it was a football masterclass unfolding in real time. Every read looked like it came straight out of a veteran's playbook. Analysts weren't even analyzing anymore. They were daydreaming. It felt like fan fiction brought to life, only with better lighting and way more disbelief. And let's be real, it wasn't just the arm doing the damage. Nah, Shadur was out there dancing around pressure like it was nothing. That wasn't evading, that was taunting. You could almost hear defenders sighing like, "Bro, how do we even tackle this man?" Meanwhile, scouts from rival teams were sitting in the stands pretending to take notes, but their clipboards told the truth. Doodles of dollar signs and question marks all over the page. You could feel the panic brewing across the league, whispers spreading like wildfire. What if this kid's the real deal? What if our defensive coordinator has to face him twice a year? That's not strategy talk, that's survival instinct kicking in. And the funniest part?
For 300 yards in this game and tears it up, Kevin Stefanski is still going to have to stand in front of the podium and then justify why based on what they've seen at practice. And every report we've had out of practice is that he's not ready. Stefanski's then going to have to calm down the fan base, and they're not going to believe him because they don't see the practices and they just saw the game. That's why this just feels...
Watching the opposing defense slowly realize they were trapped in a nightmare they couldn't wake up from. Every blitz turned into a failed experiment. Every coverage looked airtight until Shadur casually tore it open like wrapping paper on Christmas morning. And when he didn't throw the ball, that's when it got really scary. He was playing chess with the clock, using it like a weapon. Every audible, every glance, every pause, pure mind games. It was psychological warfare in cleats. The highlight moment came late. Fourth quarter, third down, pressure crashing in from both sides. Any rookie would have panicked, but not Shadur. He sidestepped one defender with the calm of a man checking his watch, locked eyes with another, and then launched a missile across the middle that cut between three defenders and dropped perfectly into his receiver's hands. The crowd gasped, the commentators lost their minds, and the league just realized this kid isn't a prospect, he's a problem. That throw looked GPS guided, like the ball had its own navigation system locked on target. After a pre-debut that felt more like a YouTube highlight reel than an actual NFL game, the league wasn't asking to pay the man.
You see, this is my favorite thing about haters. When lies get disproven, goalposts get the moving. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Shedeur Sanders. You see, a lot of people on draft day were trying to gaslight us, talking about there is no conspiracy. He fell to the 5th round because he's a braggadocious, spoiled brat who cares about nobody but himself. He's not athletic. He can't throw anything except screen passes. He makes poor decisions. So basically, you wasted months doubling and tripling down on narratives that you knew were absolute.
They were being told to empty the vault. This was the kind of contract that makes accountants break into cold sweats and rival owners start checking under their yacht cushions for spare millions. The message was loud and clear. This wasn't luck, it was leverage, and Shedeur held every card. Here's the cold truth. Shedeur didn't just pass the eye test, he broke it. One look and you knew the rookie label didn't belong anywhere near him. It was like watching a college kid walk into a Fortune 500 boardroom and start giving orders that actually made sense. You can't unsee it once it clicks. That rare mix of calm, command, and charisma that makes everyone else look a step behind. And let's be real, the NFL is a meat grinder for young quarterbacks. Most get eaten alive before they even unpack their lockers. But Shedeur, he didn't look like someone trying to survive. He looked like someone changing the rules mid-game. Defenses tried to expose him and he flipped it. Suddenly they were the ones getting exposed. He wasn't avoiding mistakes, he was creating them. For the other team, every play was a trap, every adjustment a setup. He wasn't just playing football, he was bending the sport around his style like he'd been there for years. That's why the contract extension was both hilarious and legendary. You could almost picture the front office after that game. Stunned silence, then someone saying,
I feel like we're rooting for Shadur for all of the times that he was passed over as a quarterback. And I feel like we're rooting for every time that they said he wasn't ready, to make it just a little bit more powerful. So yeah, I'm keeping receipts, because one day soon, we'll pull them out.
Yeah, we can't let him wear another jersey. Ever boom, the ink's drying before the reporters even finish their recap. He went from rookie prospect to franchise cornerstone in under a week. 7 days from let's see what he's got to we can't afford to lose him. Usually preseason debuts are all nerves, shaky timing, and too much adrenaline. But Shedeur's, it was full of did he just do that? And wait, again? Every snap looked like deja vu for defenses and destiny for fans. The NFL's next big story had just been born. It's not just about talent. It's the blend of confidence and precision that's straight up terrifying for every other team. Confidence without skill gets you benched, and skill without confidence gets you broken. But when you've got both, that's when you start cashing checks with more zeros than your critics' win columns. That's when you land multi-million-dollar extensions before the regular season even starts. Shedeur isn't just playing football.
You can never count him out. And on Friday, in his first preseason game, Shedeur Sanders showed you exactly who he is and the talent that he brings to the Cleveland Browns and really the entire NFL. 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 19 rushing yards, and a whole lot of poise. He didn't just play, he impressed. And if you're still doubting him after that, then
he's rewriting how rookies enter the league. Picture this. Somewhere in 31 different NFL cities, defensive coordinators are pacing in front of whiteboards, sweating through their polos, trying to figure out how to keep this man from turning their Sundays into highlight reels. They're drawing up exotic blitzes, disguising coverages, mixing man and zone like mad scientists. But here's the kicker. It won't matter. Because if that first game was any clue, Shedeur doesn't just read defenses, he reads people. He's got that spooky kind of intuition, the kind that makes defenders think they've got him cornered, only for him to slip out, reset, and fire a dime before they even blink. 1 second you think he's trapped, and the next, your safety's chasing shadows while the crowd's going wild. That's not luck. That's mastery in motion.
More than a dude with a bad temper. Literally, heading into his first NFL start, the man didn't even get any practice with the first team. So even with that handicap working against him, Shedeur went out there and balled the f*** out. I'm talking about looked exactly like the quarterback he was projected to be.
And now the real show begins. He's got the bag, the spotlight, and a nation of doubters just waiting for him to slip. But that's exactly what fuels him. Nothing lights a fire like proving people wrong, especially when you've already made them look foolish the first time. Every hater who tweeted, "He's not ready," is now refreshing their feed, hoping for a crack that's never coming. If this is what Shedeur does before his debut, just imagine what's coming once the games actually count. Picture him walking into a primetime regular season showdown with the playoff picture on the line, stadium roaring, lights blazing, and he's still calm, still surgical, still dangerous. If he brings even half of that preseason energy, defenders might as well start sending prayers now. The league might not be ready, but Shedeur Sanders absolutely is. And thanks to that massive contract extension, he's not just a rising star anymore. He's an investment, one that's already paying dividends.
Shedeur Sanders, all I can say is, I think it's disgusting. I don't understand what the heck's going on with this. 5th player on my board. It's never happened before in 47 years where a player that high has dropped this far into the 4th round at quarterback. It's sitting there in round 4 with other quarterbacks being taken who aren't as good as Shadur, aren't even close, in my opinion, in terms of accuracy, toughness. Arm strength is certainly more than good enough. I don't see, outside of not being have the rocket arm and the 4.6 speed and a big frame, the 6'3", 230.
The question now isn't whether he'll succeed, it's how much chaos he's about to cause while doing it. Watching Shadur play was like watching a chess grandmaster go up against someone who just learned how the horsey moves. Absolute domination from start to finish. Every snap was a setup, every throw a checkmate. And the funniest part wasn't even the play itself. It was the pure chaos happening on the Panthers sideline. One assistant coach ripped off his headset like it personally betrayed him, while another started frantically flipping through the playbook, probably hoping there was a secret page titled How to Stop Shedeur Sanders. Spoiler alert, there wasn't. By the 4th quarter, you could see the defense breaking down. Their energy drained, their body language screamed, "We've tried everything, and he's still here." It wasn't just defeat, it was spiritual surrender. One defensive back even patted Shadur on the back after a perfect completion, which in NFL terms is basically shaking hands with the guy who just robbed you in broad daylight. The respect was real, but so was the humiliation. Then came the twist no one could have scripted. The contract extension bombshell dropped right after the game. That's when the real comedy started. Somewhere in a dimly lit office, an NFL agent probably punched a wall out of jealousy, while rival GMs were calling their scouting departments like, "How did we miss this guy?"
Finally admit that he belongs in the league. I'm going to keep these receipts because I feel like we're witnessing history. They said he was the worst formal interview. They said he's entitled, not talented. They even said he was a developmental quarterback. Then last night's first preseason game, Shadur shows up, and I felt like the only thing that was developing were the broadcaster's excuses. He showed a lot of poise, mobility, big playability, the NFL culture shock. Maybe the shock for the owners is realizing the kid that they...
You could almost hear the panic echoing through team facilities across the country. And those billionaire owners, oh, they were pacing inside their private jets, doing mental gymnastics, trying to figure out if they could accidentally tamper without getting caught. The timing was just too perfect. The man hadn't even suited up for a regular season game, and already his name was tied to one of the biggest, most secure bags in the league. Fans everywhere were losing their minds, not because he didn't deserve it, but because of how fast it all happened. One night, he's a rookie with potential, and the next morning, he's a walking, talking investment portfolio. The whole league's sitting there questioning capitalism like, wait, you can get paid this fast for being that good? And the answer? When your name is Shedeur Sanders, absolutely. See, the NFL usually moves slow and careful when it comes to quarterbacks. They label, categorize, and overanalyze. You've got your pocket passers, your scramblers, your game managers, and your cannon arms. And then out of nowhere, Shedeur Sanders shows up and makes all their carefully drawn up blueprints look like they were sketched in crayon. This rookie didn't just challenge the system. He broke it, smiled, and handed it back.
Look downfield here again. We got a free runner. He didn't panic. He knows the back's going to pick him up. 4-man rush. He's looking downfield and watch. He squares his shoulders up again. I mean, this is the part. He looks down the field, finds a little window, threads it right in there. So that right there for a rookie quarterback.
Now imagine being a defensive coordinator knowing you've got to face him twice a year for the next decade. That's not just pressure, that's a full-blown career crisis. Here's the thing about Shadur, he doesn't just play the game, he manipulates it. He's like a magician who tells you exactly what trick he's about to pull and you still can't stop it. He traps defenders mentally, makes them hesitate just long enough to lose everything. You bite on one fake and you're already toast. You pause for half a second and that ball's sailing right over your head. It's not about speed, it's about control. And from the very first snap, he owned that field like it was his backyard. Now picture this. Fast forward to the future. Week 14, playoff race heating up, primetime lights blinding, national TV audience locked in. The defense has studied him for weeks, dissected every play, built the perfect game plan, and none of it matters. Shadur still turns them into a viral meme in front of millions. By that point, that massive contract extension everyone joked about, it'll look like a bargain deal. And this right here is what drives the haters insane. Not only did he torch their early doubts, he got paid before they could even find a single legitimate flaw. Usually critics get a few games to pick someone apart, to nitpick, to analyze, but the franchise didn't give them that chance. They cut the conversation short and said, "We're good. He's ours now." That's why the hate hits so deep. It's not about jealousy anymore, it's panic. Because once the ink's dry and the money's in the bank, the narrative doesn't belong to the haters anymore. It belongs to Shedeur Sanders. You know what else just changed? Free agency. That's the part nobody's ready to admit yet. Right now, everyone's talking about how Shadur got paid big after one game. But soon, the conversation's gonna flip completely.
A first-round talent who slipped to 144th overall. And why, you may wonder? Because NFL execs and scouts had a lot of to say, and none of it kind. Oh, fast forward to his NFL debut. Sanders steps in as Cleveland's fourth-string quarterback. Fourth string. And let's keep it a buck. Cleveland ain't They've been starving for a quarterback with this kind of promise for years. They need a Shedeur Sanders significantly more than a Shedeur Sanders.
People will look back and say that was the night a dynasty started. And that's exactly why the rest of the NFL is shaking in their cleats. You can feel the nervous energy radiating through front offices coast to coast. They all know something new just got unleashed. Yeah, sure, the haters can keep throwing their little jabs, talking about sample sizes, and waiting for the regular season. They can tweet about proving it over time, all they want. But deep down, they know the truth. They saw what happened that night. They saw a young quarterback who wasn't supposed to dominate yet step in and take over like he'd been doing it for years. They saw a front office so confident, so sure of what they just witnessed, that they basically said, "We're cashing out the future on this guy, and we're not sorry about it." Meanwhile, the Panthers will get over it eventually, because that's the difference between a good rookie and a future problem for the entire league. A good rookie celebrates a win, but a future problem, he makes it his baseline. And Shadur just set his. So buckle up, because if that pre-debut game was just the warm-up, the regular season's about to look like something too disrespectful for prime time. We're talking highlight reels that'll make defenses question their life choices and coordinators lose sleep. The league's been warned. The Sanders era has begun, and it's not slowing down for anyone. So if you're still watching, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, because this ride's only getting wilder from here. See you on the next one.